Oh man, I just finished my second longest video, and the video that shall not be named. So what's next? What can I make a video on now? Oh, I guess we're doing this now. So hello everybody. I didn't expect to be making a video on this game ever. If you didn't know, which I doubt you do, but if you know me, then I am a pretty big fan of Splatoon. I even had an old account that I'm not going to show here with a bunch of my old Gmod artwork on it that looks like something. But with that out of the way, I gotta get started on the actual video concept. Oh, I also have to say, disclaimer! This video is only a concept. A game isn't being created based on this concept. I just thought it would be cool to combine these two things together. If you have your own ideas, however, leave them in the comments below or at me on Twitter. Oh, also, this video has spoilers for the final bosses of Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion and Splatoon 3. So yeah, tread carefully. Oh, also, this video won't include anything from Side Order. What? Dude, why aren't you including it? Mainly since, as of working on this video, I still haven't played it. But dude, the DLC has been out for nearly 2 years now! Well, don't blame me for losing interest in Splatoon. But, if you guys do want to see some concepts from Side Order, then if you get this video to, 200 views, I'll do a part 2. I don't know, I think. This channel doesn't really have a good track record when it comes to sequels. But with that out of the way, let's finally get this show on the road with the Splat Vivors. You see what I did there? Combining survivors with the splat from Splatoon. Anyways, let's get this started with my favorite part of these concepts, the Splat Vivors. For the Splat Vivors, the main ones that I thought up in my BK brain were these: Agent 4, Agent 8, Neo Agent 3, the best idol in all of Splatoon, Marie, and okay, fine. Now that we have our 5 Splat Vivors, we gotta cover the Krillers. God, I'm on a roll with these puns today. Anyways, for our 2 killers, we have Mr. Grizz and Commander Tartar. That's it? Okay, wow. Wait! How can Commander Tartar move around? He's just a phone! If I put him in a mech suit, will that work? What is this, Fortnite?
Hello, Peter.
Dude, can you just, not? Okay, fine. Well, now it's probably the shortest section out of the way. Let's move on to some of the movesets that I thought of for some of these Splat Vivors and Krillers. Hey, also, by the way, disclaimer part 2, I'm not a game maker. So if these are unbalanced, then, yeah, sorry. Alright, let's get some of these movesets down. Starting with the newest agent, Neo Agent 3. The 3 main moves that Neo Agent 3 would have is Hero Shot Mark 3, Small Fry, and Splashdown. Now, the Hero Shot Mark III would work differently from other Hero Shots. Neo Agent 3's Hero Shot would be upgraded as the round goes on, being a reference to how the skill tree from Splatoon 3 can upgrade the main weapon, getting a faster fire rate, longer fire rate, and a damage buff. Small Fry works like this. If you throw him at a Kriller, then the Kriller would get a slowness debuff. And last but not least, we have Splashdown. Now, Neo Agent 3 is the only survivor that has a special, that being Splashdown. Once Neo Agent 3 stuns the Kriller enough, through either Small Fry or their Hero Shot, they can use Splashdown, which will stun the Kriller for a decent amount of time, if the player can hit the Splashdown. Then, we have the best idol in Splatoon, Marie, who would have both her umbrella and her charger. Marie's charger is simple, a long-range attack that can stun the Krillers from a distance, with the drawback being an overall speed debuff while holstered. Then we have the umbrella. Now you might be wondering, BK, it's an umbrella. What could you have possibly thought of for this? Well, listen here, you little nincompoop. You would be able to use this umbrella to block an attack from the Kriller. You can only do this 3 times before the umbrella needs to recharge or something. However, if you block a Kriller on the exact frame of you getting damage, then you can parry them, causing the Kriller to be stunned for around a second at the cost of the umbrella immediately breaking, meaning you won't have those 2 extra charges in the chamber. Now we have Agent 4, and I got a funky mechanic for this guy. So, throughout the round, our favorite annoying weapons dealer, Sheldon, would want to get research on a bunch of different weapons. So, during the round, Agent 4's weapons would be able to be switched out with another weapon. Think of something like Amy's tarot card mechanic from Outcome Memories, but instead of giving buffs, it would swap out your weapon. The main things that I think it would switch between are the Hero Shot Mark II, Hero Dualies, Hero Splatling, and Hero Brush. Now let's run through these really quickly. Hero Shot Mark II. This would be the weapon you start the round with. It would have average firing speed, nothing really notable to say about it. Hero Dualies. The Dualies would sacrifice some range compared to the Hero Shot Mark II, but allow Agent 4 to dodge roll twice and have a slightly faster base movement speed. Hero Splatling. The Hero Splatling would sacrifice speed for raw power. If you can hit a majority of your shots, then you can stun the Kriller. If you only hit some of your shots, however, you will only slow down the Kriller, but it can help if a Splat Vivor is being chased. Hero Blaster. The Hero Blaster would be a short-range yet powerful weapon, with 3 shots being able to stun the Kriller if the player is able to hit all 3 of the shots. Hero Brush. Yeah, this one's a bit of a joke. So, the Hero Brush would sacrifice damage and range for speed, mainly showing its one and only true purpose if Agent 4 is being chased. Now, for the last idea I could think of for the Splat Vivors, we have Agent 3. He would be probably the most beginner-friendly Splat Vivor, with his abilities being Hero Shot Mark I and Ink Armor. Hero Shot Mark I would work like the Hero Shot Mark II, but you wouldn't be able to swap it out for another weapon. And Ink Armor would be able to give a slight overheal to Agent 3, as well as 2 other survivors in close vicinity. If you don't really think these fit him, well, I'm sorry, this is the best I can think of. Now, let's cover the Krillers. What about Agent 8? I couldn't think of anything for them. Let's start off with the big brown Ursine anomaly, Mr. Grizz. Now, for the 4 main moves I thought of for Mr. Grizz were this. Budget cuts. Remember that slash attack he did on the rocket in his final boss? Instead of making it 1 single slash that sends out ink, make it 2. It would still send out the same ink projectile though. Bear roll. Taking another attack from the boss fight, Mr. Grizz would be able to turn into a ball and roll around at the speed of a crab tank from Splatoon 3. This would be a more movement-based ability, however it could still splat the Splat Vivors if they get squashed under his furry mass. Fuzz Bombs. Now, taking one last move from Mr. Grizz's boss fight, we have the Ink Strike-esque ability, where Grizz will launch 3 of them, and after exploding, it'll leave a fuzzy ooze puddle. Speaking of fuzzy ooze puddles, Spreading Ooze. Now, the main passive that Mr. Grizz would have would be Spreading Ooze, where, after every kill, the dead Splat Vivor will turn into a clump of fuzzy ooze. If a Splat Vivor were to touch the fuzzy ooze, Mr. Grizz would be able to see them wherever they are, and as long as the Splat Vivor is standing in the fuzzy ooze, they will have passive damage dealt to them. Now we have Commander Tardar, so let's get this started. Commander Tardar would have 2 passives, those 2 being Sanitization Reanimation and Melting Touch. For Sanitization Reanimation, after Commander Tartar kills a Splat Vivor, Commander Tartar could decide to sanitize the survivor. However, to make this not completely broken, Commander Tartar can only sanitize 2 people at a time. If he does a 3rd person, then the first person who he sanitized would die. Another drawback is that every time Tartar reanimates someone, he would lose a cut of the round's earnings. Melting Touch is simple. Commander Tartar's M1 would deal slight burning damage. Now for his active abilities, those being Sanitization Beam and Blending Bash. Sanitization Beam would fire a long-range beam that could hit survivors from a far distance. However, it would lock Tartar in place, only allowing Tartar to turn, not move. Then, we have Blending Bash. Blending Bash would be a charge move that would allow Tartar to quickly charge forward and blend any Splat Vivor in his path, dealing massive damage to anyone in his way. Man, wasn't that a doozy? Well, let's get to the next one. Oh, what's that? You don't have any more ideas? Well, who knows? Maybe if we get enough views, I can make a part 2. Can you stop fishing for views? Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's just end the video. Well, here we are. I hope you all enjoyed some random person on the internet ramble about a concept he thought of. Now, like I said during the introduction, If you have any ideas, leave them in the comments below or at me on Twitter. I'm not calling it X, you can't make me. I'm not gonna beg for you all to give this video views since I've basically been doing that this whole video. So that's all I've got. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe so you can stay notified. Check out the other content that I've cooked up on this channel, and I'll hopefully see you all soon. See ya!